Hey Ninja Nation, this week's video is all about the size of your pipeline and the profit in your bank. How do you move a prospect to profit in the least amount of time possible? All right, welcome back. I think it's very important that we kind of set the stage for the pipeline to prospect to profit. It's really important to understand that while the size of your pipeline will determine the size of your bank account, as an insurance entrepreneur, the size of your pipeline will determine the size of your bank account. It is also vitally important to understand that most of us severely overcomplicate the pipeline process. Most of us severely overwork ourselves through a hustle and grind mentality, through a do more activity mantra, through a if you're not successful at what you're doing today, you know what you need to do? You know what you need to do? You simply need to go work harder. You need to go make more calls. I have a singing voice. Did y'all know that about me? I didn't know that either. You've been told things like your entire career. I know when I started in the business, it was preached that we had to schedule 5 decision maker appointments, 5 employer appointments, 5 meetings every week. If we had 5 meetings every week, we would close this many, run this many. Like, you couldn't fail. You're going to make all this money. You'll open between 10 to 15 new accounts per quarter. And I was like, sweet, rock star, let's go schedule 5. And then guess what happened? I couldn't find anyone who was sustainably scheduling 5 appointments a week. I couldn't find anyone who was sustainably opening 10 to 15 new accounts per quarter. In fact, if these numbers were anywhere near, if this wasn't anywhere close to true, if it was even close, wouldn't your average new agent be opening between 7 and 10 accounts per quarter? Wouldn't your average veteran agent be opening a couple, 3, 4, 5 accounts per quarter? If these numbers were anywhere near true, the truth of the matter is we're told to go schedule 5 when in reality no one is actually doing it. Why is no one doing it, Zach? Because it's unsustainable. It is that simple. You go through absolute grind and fatigue because the only way to sustainably get 5 appointments per week is to, say it with me, go make more calls. At some point, you burn your freaking market to the ground. At some point, you have cold called every business there is to call. And then your only hope is, well, do you understand how many new businesses are opening up in this zip code every single year? Shut up. Do you know how many businesses are going out of business every single year in the zip code? Come on. What if instead we got a lot more intelligent about the way we're building our pipeline, understanding that the size of our pipeline will determine the size of our paycheck, but who in the world said that the only way to build a pipeline was through doing more activity? In fact, you've probably heard it said, and you probably believe it to be true, that the vast majority of sales are made between the 8th and 12th follow-up. The vast majority of sales, most salespeople never follow up past 2 times. All you need to do to be successful in this business is, number 1, don't quit. Number 2, do more activity. And number 3, learn to follow up. Boy, I'm a great trainer. Somebody pat me on the back. Okay. But I'm exhausted by all this cold calling and do more activity. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start center of influence, and I'm going to business card introduce, and I'm going to ABC, and I'm going to CDEF, and I'm going to start networking and Chamber of Commerce, and I'm going to go to join BNIs. And you know what? Relationships are what makes sales anyway, not this cold call. I'm going to go build relationships, and then I'll be wildly successful because I'll have so many relationships. People will know, like, and trust me, and because they'll know, like, and trust me, and I'll have all these relationships, and I've been told to schedule 5 appointments a week. That is how I'll do it. I'll go build relationships. I'll get people to know, like, and trust me, and then I'm going to make it rain. Thinks everyone always that never actually happens. Friend, I don't want to burst your bubble. Yes, that's not true. I totally want to burst your bubble because I want to set you free from that stinking thinking and help you understand something. Prospect to profit simply does not come down to relationships. It doesn't even come down to know, like, and trust that you've been taught. What sales today is all about, he or she who can provide me the most value. He or she who can provide me the most value the quickest. He or she that can provide me the most value the clearest. If you provide me value, I will replace a relationship for value. Hear me loud and clear, friend. You are awesome at what you do. Some of you watching this video have been in this business for decades. You have served your clients at the absolute highest level. You have some of them that you've attended their weddings, you've attended funerals, you've attended birth announcements. You are friends with some of these people. And even still, you've lost accounts, haven't you? Even still, a different broker or somebody else comes in and goes, you know what? We're going to change X, Y, and Z. We're going to sell you. We're going to protect you. We're going to help you with more value. But in order to do that, we're going to have to make all these changes. And they go, you know what? I love you, but I got to do this over here. Value trumps relationship in 2023, my friends. And it will for many, many, many years to come. He or she that can provide the most value will win. You can cold call, network, BCI, four-corner market. You can do whatever you want to do trying to get to this magic elusive number of 5 so that you can get your prospects to turn into profit. Or what we could do to get our prospects to equal profit is simply look at our prospect pipeline and say, you know what? If I took my prospecting pipeline and I went out and found me 250, listen, go watch my avatar training video, not 250 prospects, not 250 ideal client profiles, not 250 of my target market. If I go and work to establish a pipeline with 250 of my avatars inside of it, if I go build out my avatar profile and then start collecting 250 of those suckers, and I put 250 prospects through a little thing Zach calls the law of familiarity follow-up process, LOF. Go watch the video. We'll link it down in the description. The best follow-up process I have ever seen or used establishes the law of familiarity with these 250 prospects. If I establish the law of familiarity with my prospects through an intentional, science-based, psychology-founded follow-up system, I will schedule more appointments than any other means or method out there. You can BCI, four-corner market, yo mama all day long. Knock yourself out. If all you ever want to do is high levels of activity to hit your quota, achieve sales bonus, make VIP, whatever thing it is that you're chasing, then knock yourself out. But to be honest, I already know you're not the one watching this video. You don't have time. You're out there hustling and grinding. The rest of you are trying to figure out a way to work a lot smarter so that your smart work, along with your hard work, turns into bigger paychecks and bigger impact. And you'll do that right here with 250 prospects, matching your avatar profile, putting them through the law of familiarity. That right there, listen, I hope you're grasping this. Oh, this is good. You do not. You should not. You are crazy if you've been in this business more than about 60 to 90 days and you're still having to be in heavy cold call mode. If you've been in this business 60 to 90 days and the only way that you're building your prospect pipeline is through heavy duty cold call volume, you do not have a pipeline, which is the reason you do not have the earnings you want, the commission statement you want, the renewals you want, and your entire freaking business is built on hope and luck. I hope that if I make enough calls, I'll be lucky enough to schedule enough appointments that maybe I'll open enough groups to pay my freaking bills. That sounds like the definition of stress, anxiety, worry, roller coaster. You have fun with that. I like roller coasters at Six Flags. I do not like them in my bank account. Here's what I like. Right freaking here. Put those through this. And as you put the 250 through the law of familiarity, magic things happen when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you want to schedule more decision maker appointments, you simply need to make sure that it is your avatar and that your avatar has desire. If your avatar has desire, you will schedule more appointments. And here's rocket science for you. You want to talk about sales being a numbers game? If you're really freaking good at building your pipeline and getting it to profit, and then you understand your avatar plus desire equals DM scheduled, got another YouTube video for you on that one. Avatar plus desire equals DM scheduled, then my gosh, if I have better quality prospects that are my avatar, and I'm not worried about trying to go out and make a gazillion cold calls to build my pipeline, what if instead I spent all that time and energy on my 250 and some goofball trainer one time told me that 80% of the results, 80% of sales, let me translate this for you. 80% of your appointments, do they come during the follow-up process of trying to get the appointment scheduled, or do they come during the cold call process of scheduling the appointment? Where does 80 freaking percent of your appointments come from? Cold calls or follow-up of the cold calls? Well, geez, Zach, now that you mention it, I think 80% of my appointments come from the follow-up process of my cold call. You know what you should do then? You should go spend 80% of your time doing cold calls, because that's what you've been doing your whole career. And then you wonder why people go through cold call fatigue. And you wonder why markets get burnt to the ground. And you wonder why everybody has been called on 18 times. And I can keep going with this if you want me to. I can piss everybody off. I don't try to have to solve this for everyone. I only want to solve it for you. If you stop putting yourself through the cold call grind machine and you would instead realize that, man, if I spent my energy following up, and especially the way I teach it through the law of familiarity, with these 250, woo! Oh my God! And the only goal of that follow-up is to establish the law of familiarity with the decision maker you've not yet met. And that decision maker becomes intimately familiar without having met you with who you serve. And the only question you ultimately have to ask them is, do you have any desire for the what I do, since you are the who I serve? And then you schedule more appointments than you've ever seen. And then here's like the little piece of magic. You ready? If your mind isn't already blown, here's how hard this is. Once you build this 250, there's one more little rule that I teach called 1 out, 2 in. Here's what that means. As I'm going through my 250 and I'm talking with my decision makers and I'm finding out, hey, decision maker, are you my avatar? Oh my gosh, you are my avatar. Hey, decision maker, do you have any desire for the what I do? You do? We're gonna meet? Awesome! That is 1 out. Your job is to find 2 more to put in there. If you constantly have 1 going out and 2 coming in, somebody tell me what happens to the size of your pipeline. If you have 1 going out and 2 coming in, tell me if your pipeline can get stagnant. Can you follow up too much, too often, too little? Sure, if you're not following the system. 1 out, 2 in allows for your pipeline to constantly have new growth coming into it. 1 out, 2 in allows your pipeline to grow exponentially over time without you having to go do power hour calls and whatever else you do to trick yourself into trying to go do cold call fatigue. The last understanding that you need to have is that 1 out, 2 in. No, I don't want to meet with you. I don't want to meet with you now. I don't want to meet with you ever. I'm not interested in anything you have to do. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not going to overcome your objections. I'm not going to try to create desire. I'm certainly not going to try to take a good no and turn it into a bad yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. 1 out, 2 in. Now, y'all, I know what some of you are sitting there thinking. It cannot be that easy. It cannot be that simple. You are correct. There are 2 problems with this method that I'm teaching you right now to get your prospects to turn into profit. Problem number 1, we as human beings desire so strongly to overcomplicate virtually everything we try to do, it is frightening. But it truly is this simple. Here's the warning sign for you. If you do not get this pipeline built to the point of momentum, if you never get it to where momentum begins to help take over for you, you will never experience the type of victories that I'm talking about. If you're constantly in the hustle and grind mode trying to get to this 250, then you won't experience the level of benefit that I'm talking about. You're just traded one cold call method for a different cold call method. Well, that is not what I'm talking about. I love you, but listen. You need to get your butt into gear and build this pipeline as quickly as you possibly can so that within 60 to 90 days, you are out of cold call mode and you are building your business through the law of familiarity. Friend, if you've not already put 2 plus 2 together here, let me help you with something else. The reason the law of familiarity is so powerful is it takes advantage of the exact same psychological component inside of our 10,000-year-old brain for the reasons that we love referrals. If I asked you to rank for me your absolute favorite way to generate leads, most of you would put referrals far above anything else. You'd go referrals, networking, and BNIs and chambers, something, cold calls. If you even manage to get cold calls on your list, all of them effective ways of building your pipeline. The reason that you put referrals as like your favorite thing to do, your favorite way to open accounts, is because they have the law of familiarity already established. You just didn't realize it before. If you intentionally build your whole stinking pipeline to take advantage of the law, well then my gosh, your whole pipeline becomes almost as efficient and sexy as referrals. But guess what? I get to control the volume of the referrals coming in instead of hoping that I'm lucky enough that my businesses will give me the referrals based on who I need and when I need them. God, this is so good. I hope that you're taking time to dissect. In closing right here, I hope that what you're gathering out of this is that if you want your business to explode, if you want your profit to skyrocket, if you want this next year to be the best year you've ever had, then you have a couple of choices to make. I can either go work harder than I did this previous year. I can try harder, make more calls, talk to more people, hustle and grind my way through it. We're just going to do it. I'm going to muscle my way through it. Yeah! Or you could actually employ a true system that lets your business just grow and grow and grow. I guess the choice is yours. See you on the next video, Ninja Nation.